The wind outside howled like a warning, rattling the windows of the old house we never really called home. I found her at the far end of the hall, in the room no one used anymore, not since Dad's study had been cleared out after the accident. Claire stood in the dim light, her arms wrapped around herself like she was holding something in, something dangerous. Her eyes, wild and uncertain, met mine the moment I stepped inside. "Close the door," she said. Not a request. I did, heart hammering as I turned back to her. Claire dropped to her knees and pried up a loose board beneath the dusty rug. I'd stepped over that spot 100 times and never noticed the give. "This can't wait," she whispered, her voice shaking. "Before they find out, I need you to see this." She pulled out a worn leather journal, its edges frayed like it had been read. No, studied 100 times. Dust bloomed in the air as she opened it, flipping past the first few pages without looking. Her fingers stopped at a dog-eared section, one with torn photos tucked between entries. I leaned closer. What I saw made my blood turn to ice. Handwriting, Dad's unmistakable scrawl, filled the pages. But the words weren't lectures or to-do lists, they were confessions. "Claire, what is this?" I asked, my voice barely above a breath. She didn't answer at first. Her lips parted, then closed again, trembling. Finally, she met my eyes. "It's about the fire, the one that killed your mom." I staggered back like she'd hit me. "Number, that was an accident." "No," she said softly. "It wasn't, and that's not all." She reached into the book and unfolded a birth certificate. My name, but not my father's. A different name, one I'd never seen before, one she had circled in red ink. "They lied to us," she said, "about everything." My knees buckled, and I sank to the floor beside her. The journal sat between us like a loaded weapon. Outside, thunder rolled. Inside, the truth was about to shatter everything, blood in the ink. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating. I stared at the birth certificate like it might morph into something else if I looked long enough, anything other than what it clearly was. "Whose name is this?" I asked finally. My voice didn't sound like mine. "Who the hell is Raymond Elkins?" Claire didn't look at me. She was still staring at the journal like it might erupt into flames. "He's your real father," she said. "Not David, not my dad." I blinked. The floor felt unsteady, like it was slanting. "That's not possible. Why would they lie about something like that?" Claire flipped a few more pages, her fingers trembling. "Because your mom had an affair, and because she found something out, about Dad, about what he was planning." She looked up at me, eyes glassy with unshed tears. "And then she died in the fire, and suddenly the secret went with her, except it didn't, because he wrote it all down." The next entry in the journal had a date I recognized, 2 days before the fire. "She knows. She says she's going to tell him everything, Raymond, and worse. If she opens her mouth, everything I've built falls apart. I didn't want it to come to this, but if she forces my hand..." My breath caught in my throat. The sentence trailed off. Claire had underlined it, "forces my hand" twice, hard enough to rip the paper. "Are you saying he killed her?" I whispered. Claire nodded slowly. "I don't think it was an accident. I think he lit that fire on purpose, and then raised you like his own, to keep you quiet without ever telling you why." I felt cold to my core. All the memories I'd clung to, bedtime stories, fishing trips, the day he taught me to ride a bike, they all cracked at once, like glass under pressure. Had any of it been real? "But why tell me now?" I asked. "Why not go to the police? Why show me first?" She didn't answer at first. She closed the journal slowly, carefully, like it was something sacred or cursed. "Because I think someone else knows," she said finally. "I heard Dad on the phone last night. He said, 'It's buried. She'll never find it.'" She looked up at me. "But I already had." There was a sound then, a soft creak from down the hallway. We both froze. Claire grabbed my arm tight. "We're not safe. Not anymore." I stood, adrenaline surging. "You said they might find out. Who's they, Claire?" Her answer came in a whisper that didn't feel real. "Mom." I stared at her, my blood turning to frost. "What?" Claire's voice dropped again. "She knew. My mom. She knew what he did, and she helped him cover it up." The house felt suddenly too quiet, like it was listening, and for the first time, I realized we weren't alone. The hallway groaned again, long and low, like the house exhaled something it had been holding in too long. Claire and I both turned toward the door. Nothing. Just the stillness of old wood and older secrets. "You think your mum helped him?" I whispered. "Why? Why would she protect him?" Claire clutched the journal tighter to her chest. "Because if he went down, she would too. He didn't just kill your mum, he blackmailed mine to keep quiet about it. They were in this together. For years, my pulse thundered in my ears. "But why now?" I asked. Why would she care if we found out? It's been over a decade." Claire hesitated. Her lips parted, but she didn't speak. "Claire," I pressed, "there's something you're not saying." She finally looked at me, and in her eyes, I saw it. Fear, yes, but something else too. Guilt. She swallowed hard. "I found this journal 2 weeks ago. I didn't tell you because I wasn't sure what any of it meant. I thought maybe it was just rambling, grief, madness. But then things started happening." I felt the floor sway under my feet again, though I hadn't moved. "What things?" "Phone calls in the middle of the night. No one there. Our mailbox smashed in. Someone went through my room while I was at school. I know it." She dropped her voice to a whisper. "And last night, someone left a matchbook in my drawer from the gas station on the east side." I didn't understand the significance until she said, "The same one where the fire started." My stomach dropped. "They're watching us." Claire nodded. "Or warning us. Either way, we don't have much time." We stood in silence for a moment, the journal a weight between us, almost pulsing like a live thing. That's when I noticed something. A bulge in the back cover of the journal, like a slit had been cut, and something hidden inside. "Wait," I said, reaching for it. Claire opened the back flap carefully and pulled out a photograph. I didn't recognize the place, but the image was scorched around the edges. In the foreground stood my mother, not smiling, holding a baby, me, and behind her, in the background, barely visible, stood a man I'd never seen before. Claire turned it over. There was something written in our father's handwriting. "He came back once. He'll come back again. She said the child was his. If that's true, then everything I've built means nothing." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. Claire was staring at me now, not just with concern, but uncertainty, as if she didn't fully know who I was anymore, and I realized I didn't either. Before I could speak, the lights in the room flickered, then cut out completely. Darkness swallowed us whole. Then, from down the hall, the soft click of a door unlocking, and a voice we both knew, low and calm and terrifying in the quiet. "Claire? Sweetheart? What are you doing in your father's study? Claire!" The voice floated down the hallway like smoke, slow, precise, too calm. It belonged to her mother, my stepmother, the woman who had folded herself into our lives like a shadow years ago. Claire's hand found mine in the dark. Her grip was tight, knuckles white. The door creaked open just an inch. A sliver of hallway light cut across the floor, stretching toward us like a blade. I could see her silhouette, still, listening. "Why don't you both come out?" she said, voice even. "It's late, and that room's off limits, you know that." Claire stepped forward. I held her back. "Don't," I whispered. "She knows we found it," Claire whispered back. "We're not safe if we stay here." The journal was still under her arm, the photograph folded in my back pocket. I took a breath, opened the door wider, and stepped into the hallway. She was standing 10 feet away, in her nightgown, her face partially in shadow. There was something cold in her eyes, not anger, not even fear, just calculation. "You scared us," I said, forcing calm into my voice. She looked at me for a long beat, then shifted her gaze to Claire. "What were you doing in that room?" she asked. "Looking for something," Claire replied. Her voice was steady, but I could feel her trembling next to me. "What did you find?" Neither of us answered. Her eyes dropped to the journal under Claire's arm. Just a flicker, and then something terrifying happened. She smiled. "I see," she said softly. "He told you." Claire stiffened. "You knew?" "Of course I knew," she said. "I was there. I kept this family together while your father tore it apart from the inside, and I protected both of you from truths you were never meant to carry." She took a step forward. "You have no idea what you're playing with." I stepped between them. "He killed my mother, didn't he?" She didn't answer, but she didn't deny it. "Why?" I demanded. "Because she threatened to expose the affair? Because I'm not his son?" Another smile, this one sad, almost pitying. "No," she said, "because she found out what Raymond was." Claire blinked. "What are you talking about?" She looked at me, directly this time. "Your real father wasn't just some old lover. He was dangerous. She thought she was protecting you by hiding you here, by giving you a new name, a new life. But she underestimated what David was capable of." Her gaze dropped to the journal. "That book should never have seen daylight." Claire's voice broke through the tension, cold and clear. "Then why keep it?" Our stepmother paused. "Because part of me thought you deserved to know, one day, when it was safe." She glanced down the hallway. "But it's not safe anymore, not if he's back." My heart stuttered. "Who?" She took a step closer, her face tight now. "Raymond Elkins." "You said he was gone," Claire whispered. "I hoped he was," she said, "until this showed up yesterday." She reached into the pocket of her robe and held up a single blackened photo, the same one Claire and I had just found, but this one had a new message scrawled across the front in red ink. Blood will find blood, and below that, our address. Claire gasped. I stared at it, ice pooling in my stomach. He knows you know, our stepmother said, and if you want to stay alive, you're going to have to choose who you trust. She looked between us. Because he's not coming to finish the past, he's coming for you,